Excuse me, Melissa. I
And then
have
you
a
can pin
question.
me, Alice.
Mhm.
Spotlight me. All right, everybody. So we'll get settled and then start in a few minutes. So
Sorry,
a little bit away from the bolster, and then I lie down. My lumbar is not touching the bolster. It's just my rib cage on the bolster when the shoulders fall into the gap. If you have a very flat bolster and your lumbar is touching the bolster, then better to put a blanket under your buttocks so that it's not too much of a back bend. We're not about doing a back bend here. We're all about widening the back ribs, widening the diaphragm. So this is the first day I haven't had to turn on the light. Arms out to the sides. Yeah. Alice, the head is too low. Could you fold the blanket higher? The blanket should be as high as the bolster. Both blankets should be folded because it should be as high as the bolster is slightly higher than the bolster. Okay, I'll give you a couple of minutes and then we'll start. Some more, oh yeah, I see what you're doing, George. That should be fine. Start with your legs bent when you lie down, George. And then scoot the buttocks forward. Yes. Okay, and then settling in. With your shoulders caught in the gap between the blanket and and the bolster, kind of traction yourself toward the foot side. So bend your legs a little bit and then traction your trunk toward the foot side a little bit more so that you can, it's almost like you're hanging from the back of the armpit. Good morning. So we're starting off with this setup here. Same as last week. It's the horizontal bolster setup. So horizontal bolster and then blankets for your head. Alice, try adjusting the back of the skull with your hands away from the neck so that the forehead is a little higher than the chin. That's right. So there's a slight Jalandhara Bandha here. Yeah, that's right. Let me see. So the buttocks away from the, maybe fold that top blanket one more time, Yamisi, that top blanket, a little more height. So that the forehead is higher than the chin. And yeah, good, that's better. And let the shoulders fall into the gap, palms up. Bring your hands in line with the shoulders, not higher than the shoulders. If the hands are higher than the shoulders, then the shoulders tend to hitch up near the neck, shortening the neck. So see that the neck is staying long and that the arms are just in line with the shoulders. So let's be in pranayama shavasana here. Here in Michigan, we're starting to really feel the season just beginning to change. It's still winter, but the light is changing. Sun is rising earlier. Snow is melting. And so we are microcosms of the cosmos, right? We are like holograms of the cosmos. So whatever's going on a cosmic level, on a planetary level, we are embodying that to some extent. Which is why the study of yoga also involves Jyotish, which is astrology, and so the consideration of what's happening among the stars, planets, among the in that kind of cosmic realm as well. And so we are also undergoing the seasonal shift. And we are also experiencing in our own bodies climate change. So all of that is contained within us, expressed through us. And so part of our philosophy, part of our approach with yoga has to do with how we are responding on a microcosmic level to what's happening in the realm of the macrocosm, in the realm of the cosmos. So it's not like we can control, it's not like I can control the seasons, but I can control how I'm responding and how I'm supporting and how I am co-creating and participating with the cosmos. And yes, we cannot control the cosmos, but we definitely have an influence on what's going on around us, what's going on in our households, what's going on in our families, what's going on in our communities, what's going on in our cities, and even beyond. So that's all part of the yoga practice. Becoming more conscious of that, and then participating with more of that consciousness, awareness. So we're purifying ourselves. We're purifying ourselves through the practice of pranayama so that we can be effective agents of transformation in the world. So through pranayama, we are becoming more and more sensitive to our own energy flow. You could say cosmic flow, the movement of the life force through our body, through our lungs, but really penetrating through the entire body, permeating through the entire body. So now, as we did last week, now bring your awareness to the horizontal spreading of your prana. So as you inhale, the prana spreads outward. Last week I used the image of the accordion. And as you exhale, the prana comes back in towards your midline, what Gita calls the goddess line. So inhaling, spreading outward. Feel the back ribs widening. Even can you sense the diaphragm, especially the back of the diaphragm, widening. Notice how the abdomen moves back in order to assist that spreading. And even as the abdomen moves toward the back body, can you spread it out? Can you spread it like you're spreading butter on toast? Kind of draw the abdomen back and then spread it across the back body to assist the movement of the breath to the side ribs. Last week, we even talked about how the breath, how the prana even moves through the hips and legs, and then all the way out to the fingertips. So even though you don't have respiratory tissue in your legs and arms, you can still feel the prana moving all the way out to the outer thighs, outer shins, little toes, hands, all the way out through the arms and hands, and then pulling back in towards your midline. So it's breathing becomes a process of widening to inhale and narrowing as you exhale. Even the back of the skull, can you feel the back of the skull widen as you inhale? And then coming back in, it's like coming into like a dharana state of mind as you exhale, kind of coming back to the midline, even in your brain. And your senses. So the eyes, let the eyes drop toward the back of the skull. But as you inhale, a feeling like the eyes at the back of the skull are widening away from each other. And then as you exhale, coming back toward each other. So even like the face, the skull, the brain, doing this rhythmic pulsing out and in, like an accordion. Now you could try a few cycles of Viloma, which we also touched on last week. So start slow, start gentle. Don't be aggressive at all. And you can try a 3-stage inhale and a 3-stage exhale. So the 3-stage inhale, first starting from the midline, and then the first breath to the side ribs. And then the second breath all the way out to the periphery of the body. And the third breath all the way out to the fingertips, outer thighs, outer shins, little toes, outer frame of the body. And then exhaling back to the periphery of the body, the periphery of the physical body. And then exhaling again, coming in halfway toward the midline. And then exhaling all the way to the midline. So 3-stage inhale, 3-stage exhale. But in order to do a Viloma 6, this is Bahya Abhyantara Viloma, you have to just make it very mild, okay? Because we're still just warming up. Make it very mild, don't make it aggressive. In other words, don't try to take a huge breath. Just take a small breath, pause, then another small breath, pause, and another small breath, pause, then a small exhale, pause, small exhale, pause, small exhale, pause. Of course, not at that pace. You discover your own pace. So it's like you're literally playing that accordion. Maybe a harmonium is a better image. But in any case, it's opening up on all sides. Not just the top, not just the bottom, but the entire side of the body, widening away from each other and then narrowing in. Notice what kind of support you need to create on the level of Annamaya Kosha. In other words, notice the abdominal action, notice the shoulder blade action, notice what happens if you give just a slight external rotation to your humerus, upper arm. Just small actions. Pranayama is not asana. Pranayama Shavasana is not asana, I'll say. So it's not at all, these are not gross actions, they're subtle actions. See that the throat stays soft, the hinge of the jaw soft, temples soft. So don't harden your temples, don't harden your brain as you go through your inhales and exhales. If you feel that hardening of your brain, it means that the breath is too ambitious. You may need to back off a bit. So in pranayama, there's always that kind of dance between backing off too much or being too aggressive. So if you back off too much, then nothing really happens. You're not moving the prana very much. It's not necessarily going to benefit you very much. But if you're too ambitious, if you're too aggressive, then it's going to backfire. So you have to find that middle path. Where you feel, where you're exerting some effort, but you're not wearing yourself out, and you're not falling asleep. Don't fall back asleep. It's morning now. We're getting ready for the day. All right, so finish this cycle of Bahya Abhyantara Viloma. Return to normal breathing. And then slowly bring your hands to rest on your trunk, bend your legs. Roll to your side. And then come on up, sit up. So now we'll do some seated pranayama. So have your bolster, couple of blankets. Okay. Now, before we start, I want to tell you, I'm going to come closer to the camera and show you what we're going to do. So I'm using my right hand. We're going to do some digital pranayama, okay? So we've done this before, but I just want to review. So I start off with a tight fist like this. So it's very firm. Notice how my fingers are tucked in, they're curled inside, you know? So it's not like this. It's the fingernails are hidden. So this means your fingernails need to be very short. I'm sorry, but it's one of those requirements of being a yoga practitioner is we need to keep our fingernails very short. Because why? Because we use our fingertips. We use our fingertips. Our fingertips are organs of knowledge, organs of information. So we use our fingertips on the floor. We use our fingertips on our body. If you're a teacher, we use our fingertips when we assist somebody. So the fingers curl in like this. Then the fourth and fifth finger need to release, and then they come to touch the thumb. Okay, now remember, it's the fingertips. It's not the finger pads. The finger pads are not sensitive. The fingertips are sensitive. So the fingers are curled in to touch the thumb. So now we'll take this pranayama mudra. We'll each do our right hand, and you will slide the hand down to the flare of the nostril. So where the nostril widens, the fingers just go right above that flare, like right into that little notch. You'll feel that little notch on your own nose, all right? And so the fingertips will fit into those notches. So they're not on the flare of the nostril, they're just above. But it's not like pressing the cartilage. It's on the sides of the cartilage. Okay? I don't know if it's hard to see. Either it's too much light or not enough light. So right there. Okay. So it's like if I had a piercing, it would be like right near that piercing. I guess some people have piercings in different places. Okay, so have a seat. And then take a blanket and put it under your thighs, under your knees, so that it's like building a nest. So now I have this very cozy nest, a very stable, solid nest. And then let's have another blanket for the lap, all right? Okay. So everyone will take your right hand. I'll also have my right hand, all right? And then make a strong fist, release the fourth and fifth finger, bring the tips to touch, then turn your palm up and have it ready on the blanket. The other hand will be just palm facing up and relaxed, okay? So sit here for a moment. Hopefully you adjusted the buttock flesh and everything. So, and then just sit with your head up, shoulders back. I'm going to keep my glasses on so I can watch you, but you will have your glasses off. Lengthen up through the sides of the trunk, lengthen up through the crown of the head. Just take a moment here to establish the height, to release the legs down. Then from here, Jalandhara Bandha. Inhale, exhale, bring your head down. Bring your head down. Lift the chest up. So the chest to meet the chin. And just take a normal breath here. Normal inhale, normal exhale. And then for the next few cycles, we're not going to use the pranayama mudra yet. For the next few cycles, just allow the breath to become a little slower, a little softer. Do a few cycles to transition into Bahya Abhyantara Ujjayi. Maintain that image, recall that image of the horizontal breath. So starting from the midline, inhaling outwards, widening, and then exhaling, coming back to the midline. Now finish this cycle. Exhale completely. Take a slow, soft inhale. At the top of the inhale, bring your hand up. And find the top of the nostril, flare of the nostril with your fingertips. Close slightly, anuloma, and exhale through partially closed nostrils. So exhaling slowly through partially closed nostrils. Careful not to let the elbow drop onto the chest. Have a little autonomy in that elbow, moving a little bit away from the trunk. And then at the end of the exhale, bring your hand down. Normal inhale, normal exhale. Slow, soft inhale. We're on the next cycle. At the top of the inhale, bring your hand back up. Partially close your nostrils. And then slowly exhale through partially closed nostrils. So just letting the air kind of trickle out like a leaky tire. At the end of the exhale, bring your hand back down. Take a recovery breath. Exhale completely. Take a slow, soft inhale. At the top of the inhale, bring your hand back up. Partially close both nostrils. And then exhaling, seep the breath out through partially closed nostrils. Keep your chin down. Have a long line from the wrist to the elbow. Lift the elbow slightly away from the trunk. See that your hand is not falling on your face, but that the wrist is moving slightly away from the chin, just slightly. Continue on your own for a few more cycles. I'm going to watch, okay? Continue on your own pace. It's impossible to follow somebody else's pace. So now you establish your own pace. So the hand goes up at the end of the inhale and then comes back down at the end of the exhale. Keep your chin down, chest up, collarbones wide. Anuloma pranayama. Anuloma means with the grain. The grain is the flow of the breath. So we're going with the flow of the breath, but we're impeding the flow of the breath, the outward flow of the breath a little bit. One of the scientific benefits, one of the benefits of pranayama mudra, digital pranayama, that science is revealing is that it builds up the nitric oxide in your nostrils. What does that mean? So the nitric oxide is a dilator. So it reduces the inflammation in your nostrils and your sinuses when you do something like pranayama mudra, where you are kind of containing the air in the nostrils and releasing it slowly. It's building up the nitric oxide, so it's very beneficial. One more cycle. One more cycle. So after this cycle, then just take a normal breath. And then with your eyes closed, bring your head up. Nazanin, did you injure your knee? Your toe? Your foot? Oh my gosh, you're the third person with an injured foot. It must be the change of season or something. Okay. So when you're finished, now lie back down. Okay, so settle yourself in and rest. And so now just surrender to the horizontal axis. Just surrender to the earth holding you now. Don't do anything unusual with your breath. Just have a gentle resting breath. You can continue to use the image of the accordion, the breath moving from the midline to the periphery, but let it be very gentle, very effortless and light. So we're recovering from pranayama now, which is, requires a little bit of exertion, a lot of attention. So now just letting that go. I will officially end, but you can stay as long as you want, okay? Have a wonderful day. See you soon.